be on here too.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another one of This Needs to Be Said, Elephant Exposed. I am your host, CJ Jones, and along with my co-host, my main man, my partner, the man that brings the funny, even in serious situations, Mr. Duane Stinson.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Good,
sir.
what's good, good. Hey, man, listen, we already did the first show. We were already covering some breakdowns. I went on ahead and I took the bull by the horn, so you have to forgive me. So I did the first portion of this by myself, but I had to get you on specifically tonight.
Oh yeah.
Since we're on the other side of this topic about uh I named it, and this was the funny part, D. When I did my reaction, I didn't know what to call my video because I was trying to call myself being unique, right? So I named it The Slap Heard Around the World. How about entertainment news took my title and just took
Oh,
off with it?
I
I was
seen more.
like,
I don't see more than one.
wow. Say
I
again?
seen I seen more than one person use more than one post using it.
I was like, yo, and I know if not the first one, I mean, I was dead on this thing. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it
You
don't
should have
matter.
patented. You would have been getting paid right now.
I know, right? But anyway, it's all good because, like
Cop-
they say, huh?
copyright. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. So listen,
Mhm.
we're gonna jump right into this thing. I have a clip I want to start the show off with, and it's Good Morning America, and they're talking about. I titled it "The Aftermath" because
Mhm.
this is gonna be speaking mostly about the apology, and then we'll pick it up from there. So let me go into my little share box here, and we're going to go into the DVD downloads and the aftermath slap. Yeah, so here we go.
Fallout from that Oscars shocker. Overnight, Will Smith apologizing on Instagram for slapping Chris Rock after he made that joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. This coming a few hours after the Academy opened a formal review of the incident. TJ Holmes is back from LA, has the latest for us. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning to you, Ram. Yeah, back late last night. And look, out there after this incident happened, it's all anybody wanted to talk about. Folks you run into in the elevator, through the hotel lobby, the driver, at the airport. This is all people were talking about this particular incident. Now, remember when Will Smith accepted his award, he apologized to the Academy, apologized to his fellow nominees, but not to Chris Rock until now. In a lengthy statement he posted on Instagram that starts by saying violence in all its forms is poisonous and destructive.
Will Smith has apologized to Chris Rock after he struck the comedian in the face on live television during the Oscars.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
The actor posted to Instagram, "My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be." The slap followed this joke Rock made about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who has been vocal about her battle with alopecia.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Smith wrote, "Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally."
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there just for a second. Bruh, how do you view that? In other words,
I view that as I don't think it's genuine. I think it's you heard so much has been made about it. It's almost like he's being forced to do it. because you know, when you see them holding hands and taking pictures at the after parties and smiling, and you know, they look like they are on a united front, like, yeah, we did it. And your son saying, yeah, that's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure your son, if think about it now, if you made a big mistake and you feel bad about it, you're gonna tell your son, don't go out there and do that, son. Don't make statements like that. You know,
Absolutely.
I feel bad about that. You know, I shouldn't have never did that. But no, you talking about, yeah, that's how we do it and all this and that. So, you know, it's just a disgusting thing because, you know, when I look at that, the visual on that Good Morning America piece was a black man doing an interview and two black men in tuxedos that had been in a fight in front of the whole nation, the whole world.
The whole world. Exactly.
Two of
And
our quote unquote best, you know.
right. Because you supposed to be representing the best of the best. We gonna dive real deep into that one. Let me go ahead and finish. Let it play out. I'm not gonna play the full 8 minutes and 51 seconds, but that right there, I had to just bear it and just be like, okay, let's go ahead and let this thing play because I wanted to see what they want to say behind that. But to me, up until this point, it was totally insincere. He only did it out of fear of losing his little idol,
Oh yeah.
and of course this was all manipulated by Jada and all the feminists around the world and all the marshmallow men and everything else that was all about this immature act that came from a very deep place. That's right, I said marshmallow man. I know, I saw your face. I'm trying to be very, very nice right now. So yes, they are marshmallow men. Okay, emphasis on the marshmallow. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Name out your mouth. I'm going to, okay?
This apology comes as the Academy leadership reportedly called an emergency meeting to address the incident, saying it condemns the actions of Mr. Smith and is now undergoing a formal review to explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law.
There are going to be consequences. And so could it be that his membership is suspended or that he's even expelled from the Academy? Those are both very real possibilities. There's only so much that the Academy can do.
Criminal charges, though, aren't expected. The LAPD tells ABC News their involvement has definitely ended unless Rock decides to file a police report. Photographers inside the theater captured more tense moments than you saw on television. Rock on stage during the commercial break, gesturing towards Smith, who can be seen hand in hand with Jada and being comforted by his King Richard co-star Anjanou Ellis. Actor Denzel Washington standing between Smith and Rock. Washington, Tyler Perry, and Bradley Cooper all photographed speaking with Smith during the commercials. The New York Times reports there were serious discussions about removing Mr. Smith from the theater. Rock hasn't spoken out publicly just yet, but he was all smiles at the Oscars after party. The confrontation overshadowing what should have been a career highlight for Smith and also a comeback of sorts for the Oscars. 15 million viewers tuned in a year after COVID forced a much more low-key ceremony. The show's producer, Will Packer, tweeted, "This was a very painful moment for me."
Now this is a story.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this one because, like I said, I got so much that I want to unpack. But here's the thing, my man. So much from this. And I had so much in my head. I was like, okay, I was in between. Okay, do I want to clown this a little bit, or do I want to take the serious side of it? So I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you, right? And what I was saying to myself, I was like, hold on, let me go back to that skit that you did whenever you did your stand-up, right? You know, if you did it, just admit it.
Right.
So I'm thinking about my brother Duane, and I'm like, hold on, I'm having a moment, my brother. I'm having a dashiki moment. So my question to my brother is, what is the difference between an alpha male, a beta male, and a simp? Please tell me, share your knowledge with the people, my brother.
Well, the alpha male is in control. He's not, he's the leader. You know what I'm saying? He's the head of his household. And I'm just gonna stop right there and talk about how Will Smith seems to be the beta of his household, because his kids do what they want to do. His wife does what she wants to do. And I'm not saying like you're supposed to be a dictator, but you're supposed to have order in your household. And to all evidence that we can see, and that's all we can go with, is what they show us. Because like I said on my post, nobody is clamoring to know what's going on in Will and Jada's life. We don't care. We don't care. And I think that bothers them, that they're not relevant. You know what I'm saying? Especially Jada, because her acting career is very
garbage.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's
done. Sorry, my bad.
It's non-existent at this point. And so it's almost like this red table talk is a way to keep herself in the limelight. And so I think that might be why she goes so hard on the subjects, because she needs controversy just to get somebody to watch that BS. Because it's just your daughter, which your daughter's not relevant. Your mom, one thing your mom is your mom. So it's basically three irrelevant women just talking about gibberish, a bunch of stuff.
Right.
And like
I mean, they have no real substance to the subjects that they talk about. Listen, at one point in time, just like everything else, now I give props to them for lasting through the years and all this other stuff. And at one point in time, well, all the way up until the night that Will decided to let his emotions get the best of him, I was looking at Will as a true story of rags to riches, so to speak, struggle to success. And the thing that was causing me to admire him was the fact of how he was handling his adversities.
Right.
And here's the thing. So going back to my question to you, okay, I agree with you absolutely across the board about what makes, or what's the differences between an alpha, beta, and a simp. First of all, let me say this right off the bat. There is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. If you look at a wolf pack, there is nothing wrong with being a beta male. Why? Because there's always going to be a junior. There's always going to be a predecessor. There's always going to be a student. You always going to have a follower, but that can only be one leader. So that's the difference. That's the difference between the alpha and the beta. So when you said leader, I already knew that we was already in sync. As usual, nothing strange there. Now, there is a difference. There is a major difference between a beta and a simp, aka a marshmallow man. I'm not gonna do street. I started to, but Cat Williams have said enough of that for everybody. A BN, a BAN.
Right.
So,
Preach my.
so we ain't gonna take it there. We're gonna keep it nice, professional, and clean, because this is a professional platform. So, but that's what a simp is. He is a BAN. And so for my viewers that don't know what a BAN is, I am going to go ahead and plug Cat Williams, so you will find out just what a BAN is. He's a marshmallow man. Now, so let's do some cleanup here, okay? Because there is a clip in here And again, I want to put this in here because when you got status behind your name now, in other words, when people see your face, when they see your material, they love it, they like it, your career has taken off. Now, what you say as a celebrity, as an icon, as a living legend, people listen up, they perk up because they want to hear what you got to say. What you're like, you know what I'm saying? They really want to know, what is your opinion? And hey, because you are in the same line of work, did you view this the way that someone else that is not in that line of work view it? So get to your point, CJ. Who am I talking about specifically? I'm talking about Miss Tiffany Haddish. I love her. I love her work. She's another success that came from up under Kevin Hart. Okay. And just like every other comedian, she is not exempt for how she became successful. How do most comedians become successful? By talking about their pain and the pain of others and causing people to laugh. AKA, you know, Kevin Hart, laugh at my pain, right? So this is what she shared. And I'm going to go ahead and run this clip here. I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. You know what? No, I'm sorry. So this is going to be the combination. I'm sorry. This is going to be the combination of Jim Carrey, and then towards the end, you will hear what Tiffany Haddish said. But we're going to first hear from Jim Carrey. Okay?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Jim Carrey weighing in on Will Smith's Oscar controversy during a new interview with Gayle King for CBS Mornings.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
Jim Carrey was on hand promoting his new movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but yeah, he made it clear how he felt about Will Smith's actions on Sunday night.
You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
Since Sunday night, the Academy has launched a formal review into Smith's actions on stage, and Will has since issued a statement apologizing to Chris Rock, saying in part, quote, "I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I was embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness." On Sunday, Extra spoke to many stars who also weighed in on Will's behavior.
You watched the show. I'm sure you saw the moment everyone is talking about between Chris and Will. Your thoughts?
That's an old star.
I don't condone violence. I just don't see any reason for it. You know, I do know that if you're going to have any comedian and the rest of the show, everyone was being ridiculed in some way.
Right.
The only difference was, I think if you're a celebrity and you're in there, you know that's going to happen.
Sure.
Maybe, you know, this was his wife, so it was different.
Right.
But I'm not sure you run up and punch someone in the face.
If you remember, Chris hosted the Oscars,
yes,
and brilliantly. I mean, I just remember it was just kind of like better than anyone.
Yeah.
And Chris is a genius comic that has been doing it for many, many decades. And the premise being that these indeed are jokes.
Do you think as a comedian, though, you should ever worry about needing to be censored?
You know, I think anytime, you know, Chris is one of those comics that he and Chappelle are the GOATs. And they're like the youngest, oldest comics in the world. They've been doing it since they were kids. And I think, you know, the contract you set up with the audience is that these are indeed jokes and we have to embrace our freedom of speech.
You like jaw on the floor?
First of all, do you know like that joke that Chris did? I remember when that movie came out, and that was a way to insult a woman.
Bullshit. Okay, I'm so, ooh, Lord. I said I was gonna try to keep it. Go ahead, D. Go ahead. I see your face.
When I heard her say that, man, I was like, first of all, like you said, BS. I mean, I remember when that movie came out. That was my era.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Demi Moore
She was a kid. She herself was a kid.
Exactly. Demi Moore was so fine in that video. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know who she spoke to and said that that we were saying that that was a way of saying you was a dyke or you was gay. I don't know who she talked to, but any teenage boy who saw G.I. Jane,
boy,
his pants started to get a little tight around the
exactly. Thank you. Preach, bro, preach. Because that's exactly where I was going with it.
Because Demi Moore, and we both married men, and I'm not speaking on another woman in a way to disrespect my wife, but Demi Moore is a fine woman. And
even to this day, she is very nice.
Just because her hair was short, she was still fine. She was cut up. She was cut up in that movie. She was in shape. She was like a superhero. So, like we spoke about yesterday, it was really a compliment to me.
It was. No, it was to me too. Let's go ahead and run it out because I got a lot to say about this one. Hang on.
Her sexuality, her physique. It was a way to call a woman a homosexual, basically. And she's sitting right next to her. It was like that. I remember that in school. That
you don't
they would
remember
do that to people,
girl.
You know?
Stop playing.
It's kind of messed up.
Thank you for watching. If you want more
extra. Okay. So let me just say this right out the gate. That's what it wasn't about. Okay, so now you have these women like Tiffany Haddish that is, I don't want to call them liars, because if I call her a liar, then that means that she would know that the information that she was saying, she knew that the truth behind it, so she decided to put a spin on it. I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say that she was grossly misinformed. Grossly misinformed. G.I. Jane, for my young peoples out here, please do not take your information from Miss Tiffany Haddish. She's a comedian. She's a great woman overall. She's a success. Another rags to riches story, literally. But that is not the true interpretation of G.I. Jane. The true interpretation of G.I. Jane was that we was living in an era. See, this was my era. This is mine in Duane's era. It was the military has always frowned for women going into the military, period. So, let alone putting women behind enemy lines. 3, let alone, and not even behind enemy lines, like putting them in combat, but also putting them in special forces, because that makes you the elite of the elite. You are the special of the special. So for you to say a woman that the world was literally was like coddling and treasuring more like a eye candy, trophy. Says, bump this. No, I can do this just as much as a man can. That's what the movie was about. There's a famous line that I cannot say on this platform because we're trying to keep this platform professional and clean. But she was known for her famous line when she completed her qualification and becoming a special forces member. She yelled back at her drill instructor and said, "Hey, drill instructor, suck my member." That was the cliche. It was not about anything outside of, I'm a woman. Yes, I'm a beautiful woman, but I can be just as strong. I can be just as skillful, and I can come out and survive in the harshest training conditions, and I can qualify like any other man. Boom. class dismissed.
That's it. That's
Okay.
it. I watched some a few minutes ago on TMZ, and they were discussing it, and they were saying how that particular comment was not in the script. So it was just sort of off his head, I guess. Doing the script, he didn't know.
Just like
Right.
just like you and I called it. He was
Right.
riffing because
Right.
there was some little questions about that, like, was it prompted? Did it come from the? No, he is a genius comedian. You
Right.
walk in, and it's just like how my wife she made me laugh. She was like, first of all, why would even Jada come in there dressing like her draperies in the house? And I was like, oh wow. I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking, okay, that's a nice long gown, whatever. But see, again, let's break down Jada and what Jada is known for. Let's do that. Okay.
She pushed the envelope.
Always. It's nothing new. Okay. If you know anything about Jada Pinkett, the actress, the fashionista, whatever they like to call themselves, the most trendy-ish, whatever is in, she's up front. She's up front. She is the one that's going to make you go, wow, that was kiss. But you can get away with it, Jada, because you can do it. But you're also good material for someone like yourself, Duane, for someone like me. And I'm not even a comedian. But if I see something like that, I'm going to say something about it.
Right.
Because we all have this little thing called the freedom of speech.
Right. And let's just go off what that particular joke was about. Was just simply and blatantly just the hair. Just the hair.
Just the hair.
Okay, I can go down the line of black women that have recently cut their hair off bald. Sanaa Lathan, Tiffany, Gabrielle Union, even Erykah Badu did it a long time ago. I mean, it is, and then even Beyonce's sister, I forgot her name.
Solange.
So when Chris Rock saw that, just like, I promise you, I have not met one person yet who knew that she had alopecia. Not one. And every I've seen online, all these celebrities did not know that she had, and I know it's unbelievable for them, but people don't really follow her like that. We just thought she was just shaving her head again, because she.
My brother, again, I'm the choir, and that's who you preaching to. That from day one, I was like, you really do think that people know you like that? First of all, they don't. They don't.
No.
I'm a fan of Will Smith, and I'm an appreciator of Jada. And of course, like I said, we grew up with them. We're all pretty much in the same age group. Okay? Ain't nobody hating. But this show is called Elephant Exposed. You're wrong. You overreacted because you are a marshmallow man, Will. You're a marshmallow man. And Jada, she clearly has the sack.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
She sicked him on her. She was like, when he looked at her, it was almost like, when the boss say, hey,
go get him.
Go ahead. Instead of the boss, if he was the boss, he would have looked at his girl and said, babe,
I'll handle that.
Exactly.
I'll handle that.
Exactly.
Watch my work and not watch me go up here and make a fool of myself on an international stage work. Because just like you and I have spoke off camera many times before, we love our women, and oh my God. Man, I almost walk around wanting for someone to do something because I'm like, I feel like I'm out of practice. But anyway, I'm sorry. That might be the short man syndrome in me right now. but But like my man, I mean, but it was way more than Jim Carrey. I mean, like how my people have said on many platforms that I've watched, many celebrities have chimed in, many icons. If anybody has a show, anybody has a platform, anybody has a podcast, they may give you the sense that this is a split decision, but it really ain't.
Oh, no.
It really isn't. If anybody that has common sense looks at this video, shame on Will Smith for allowing his emotions to get the best of him. And speaking of, we're going to go ahead and do it. At first, I was going to hold it to the end, but we're going to go ahead and just dive into it now because I'm kind of almost filtering what I was going to say because I'm trying not to bring it into it. But right now, I am finding that clip that you just shared with me a few moments ago. So here we go.
And you get the full weight and mechanics and body motion of a right hook, and that man doesn't stumble, he laughs, and actually keeps his wit about him to turn a comedic phrase out of it, you're a bitch.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
At your highest moment, that's when the devil comes for you. And guess what? In his highest moment, the devil fooled him. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let it play out, and but I'm gonna take it from there.
I was wondering who Will thought the devil was. You know, did he feel like the enemy was Chris Rock, or did he understand that the enemy at that time was his inner me? That was the person that needed to be checked, was his lack of self-control. It had nothing to do with what Chris Rock said. It was the way that Will handled it. So that's what I wanted to know, because he stood up there to me still arrogant. He looked to the left and, you know, apologized to the Academy, but there was just no real true repentance to me, because I felt like he was looking at the enemy as Chris Rock, and he was not the enemy at that time. It was Will's lack of self-control and Will's inability to check his wife and get her under submission, and he has let this go on for a long time. So all of these emotions, I feel like, have been bubbling up in Will for a long time, and he has not addressed them. People have been cracking jokes on Jada for years now because of what they have put out to the audience. We had no idea Jada was in a relationship with August Alsina. They put that out there. They put out that they have an open marriage. So if you are now having a hard time with the jokes and things that you receive, you did that. Like you said, you should have a private life, a personal life, and a public life. They gave us the ammunition to the gun. So this is his fault. It is not Chris Rock's fault. And I just feel like he put the blame on Chris Rock. Chris Rock was not the enemy here. He wasn't the devil who was trying to come at his highest moment. That was him. It was his inner me. That's the enemy.
Amen.
I know what's trying to be communicated when a man goes to slap another man. He's trying to say, I don't have to exert my full physical force because I don't believe you to be a real threat. Exactly. And even more so, what he's trying to say, I'm not going to ball up my fist and use my knuckles, which is a more damaging structure. And what he's trying to say even more so is that I don't have to use any more force on you than I would on a woman. And that does draw very distinctual lines between men and women that we've observed culturally throughout history, right? This is why you see it portrayed that a man slaps a man slaps a man who he doesn't believe is a real man. You see this portrayed or played out in a movie, let's say like Tombstone, where Kurt Russell slaps Billy Bob Thornton, or in Humphrey Bogart in the Maltese Falcon, right? So there is a cultural narrative around what it means when a man slaps another man. It means I'm exerting full, absolute physical dominance over you. For Will Smith, when you go to strike a man and he's completely unexpecting, his hands are behind his back, he bends forward a little bit, his chin is exposed, and he's not looking, and you get the full weight and mechanics and body motion of a right hook, and that man doesn't stumble, he laughs, and actually keeps his wit about him to turn a comedic phrase out of it, you're a bitch. Will Smith was the woman in that situation. And here's why I think that's important to observe. I don't think it was by accident that he acted like a woman in that situation. I don't think that it was a failure of his masculinity so much as it was an embrace of femininity. And that's what we see here in America and in the West, that femininity, the crisis of femininity, has obscured what it means to be a man.
Come on,
he
bro.
intended to slap Chris Rock the way a woman would slap a man. And the reason why, Jason, and this is the real issue we have to pin down, the reason why is because for him, the natural order is broken.
Oh, wow.
The natural order is God to man to woman and child.
To children.
In his clan, the natural order is woman to effeminate man and gender fluid children. And it's a breeding ground for neurosis and then psychosis. We're looking at a man whose mental health has deteriorated.
Bruh, did my dude just break it down, or did he just break it down?
Broke it down. That's what I was speaking about before. Now we
elephant exposed, baby.
And see,
did we not expose that elephant in less than 5 minutes?
And see, let's keep it. Let's make this very clear. When we say gender affluent kids, we're not speaking against homosexuality, whatever. We don't do that. You know, do what you do. But we just speaking of in his household, it's so much chaos. It's so much chaos.
They invited us in it. That's the thing.
We don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
His world, to me, when I'm gonna tell you what's sad. To me, Will Smith is very rich. I don't want to count that man's pocket, but I know at one point he was making $20 million a movie. Him and then later with the little acting she did, and I'm sure she probably got other endeavors. She probably got a lot of money. Even their kids have like little music careers and modeling careers. Let me tell you something, CJ. I would not trade places with Will Smith if for anything. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I would not trade my family. I'm in a blended relationship. I'm in a second marriage. I got 3 bonus kids, 3 biological kids. I work 2 jobs. My wife work. We ain't even upper class. We middle class. I would not trade places with Will Smith. That circus that he got over there, that he calls a family, and I don't want to put them down. But what I'm saying is he lost control a long time ago. It just came to a head in front of the whole world.
In my opinion, my brother, the moment that he decided to put the public, because it's her show, but it was his decision. He gave his head to his wife. You feel me?
Right.
But before we get there, let's back up to the statement that came from our spiritual advisor, Mr. Denzel Washington. Here we go. Okay. We're gonna go to church here a little bit. Okay. So here we go. Mr. Denzel Washington was speaking to Will Smith the way that my mother would say it. He was talking to that man in the spirit. Okay. This is elephant exposed. But see, you got to be somewhere with your connection with God to really understand when someone is talking to you in the physical versus the spiritual.
Exactly. That's deep. Because
it's called discernment. Discernment of the spirit. Yes, I'm talking to you physically, but I'm really am talking from soul to soul. This is why in church and things like that, for us believers, we call it iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be able to come and talk to you and be able to check you.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa when we see one another get out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
He gave Will Smith a pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even know what to do with it.
He didn't. He didn't.
He didn't know how to interpret it. Will Smith is a very smart young man. And I say young because in comparison to a lot of us, we all in the same age group. We're still young.
Right.
And so we live in the world of should and should nots and stuff like that. So you would think that by all of us being in the age bracket that we're in, we have experienced enough life to understand when someone is talking, like how the young lady said, to the innermost you, which is your spirit. That's your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed it by a mile.
He missed it. He went on.
Like the young lady said, his ego, his arrogance,
mm-hmm.
and the feminists all behind him. Yeah, that's right, child. Defend your queen. First of all, I said it before and I'm saying it again. You have to have a queen in order to defend a queen.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I feel the same exact way. And I'm not saying Jada's not a queen, but you gotta act, you get to act that you got to deserve that title. Just because you got a vagina between your legs don't mean that you're a queen. You got to act like you've been clowning Will. You had Will out here looking bad. And that's what's so hypocritical about everybody too. The same people that's talking about, oh, he defended his queen and yes, he did the right thing. The same people that was laughing and clowning and talking about he need to leave her and oh, she this, she that, and she demasculating him in front of everybody. Exactly. But now, just because he put hands on somebody, that's what I hate about our community sometimes. We so rah, yeah, oh yeah, I did this. Oh, I'm a real one. No, you ignorant.
No, exactly. You're real ignorant. And just right. Like how Chris Rock said back whenever he was young and coming up, again, I'm not going to say the full thing, but get what I'm saying. And if you're not familiar with Chris Rock's work, he had a little part in his in one of his shows where he says he loved black people.
Oh,
he
yeah.
Stand
ninja.
A ninja. Thank you. I appreciate that. He loved black people, can't stand a ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Was this not almost prophetic?
Oh, yeah.
What you just saw was a black man versus a ninja.
Mm-hmm.
A marshmallow ninja at that. A B-A-N marshmallow ninja.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I know and I realize that Will is going through a lot. But you and I go through a lot, right?
Yeah.
If you slap somebody at QT, you going to jail, my brother.
Exactly.
And see, that's another thing I hated about the way that the whole audience in the Academy handled it. This man got a standing ovation 45 minutes to an hour after he assaulted one of the biggest stars in the world. He got up there and made that little speech with all that snot and tears and all this and that.
Miss me with that. Miss me with all of that.
It just made it seem like the world is so used to seeing black people fight each other that it didn't even blink.
We just in to a certain group of people out there, it just solidified everything that they say that we are stereotypically.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you look at
and that's why I agree with my man Jim Carrey. It was sickening.
It was.
To see that. It was sickening.
Now, if I was watching World Star Hip Hop, Hip Hop, if I was watching YouTube, if I was watching some other trash, it wouldn't have fazed me at all because I would have been expecting that. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the Oscars, it's almost like you expect that to be a release. You know how sometimes
that's
you
the pinnacle. It's the pinnacle.
Right. You know how sometimes you listen to gangster rap for a few days, and you're like, man, I got to get a break from this. So you'll turn it on one of them little pop channels, and you'll listen to talking about love and flowers and this and that. That's what the Oscars was. That's what the Oscars was. We should have been able to turn on the Oscars and almost go to sleep. It's so boring. It's just so much. You know what I'm saying? But this man, it just make it seem like, you know, that little saying with we can't take them nowhere. That's
exactly. So I got two more. I think I'm able to slide it in. I call this one Consequences, and then we're gonna hear from my guy, another comedian, Ricky Smiley. I admire his point of view, and he had actually did another one prior to this one, but this one right here, I think this also was a good cap off too. So, but this one right here is called, like, I named it Consequences, but this is not my clip. None of these clips are mine. You can get them off YouTube just like I did, but I'm using these clips to try to bring a visual and more of a broader understanding, to say that me and Duane are not the only people that feel this way and think this way and share these views. So that's why I do the clip-ins like how I do. So anyway, here is this one here.
This morning, new indications Will Smith may face consequences for slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Today, the Board of Governors for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is expected to hold an emergency meeting where it will likely decide on whether to punish Smith.
Nobody is okay with what happened. Nobody.
Whoopi Goldberg is on the board. She says she does not believe Smith's Oscar should be taken away from him, but on The View yesterday, Goldberg suggested Smith does need to be punished.
There are consequences. Yeah. There are big consequences.
There has to be.
Comedy legend Jim Carrey also weighing in, criticizing the standing ovation Smith got when he accepted his Oscar just minutes after assaulting Rock.
I was sickened. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless. En masse. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
Both Carrey and Goldberg also expressing concern for Smith.
The reason people got up and went over to him is because I think a lot of people thought, oh my God, is he having a break? Do we need to get him out? What do we need to do?
Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who was the subject of Chris Rock's joke that prompted the slap, is now breaking her silence, saying online, "This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it." As for Rock, the comedian has yet to comment publicly, but tonight he's set to perform 2 shows in Boston. The cheapest ticket on StubHub overnight, $720. And TickPick, a secondary market seller, tweeting Monday, "We sold more tickets to see Chris Rock overnight than we did in the past month combined."
Wow.
And there's new data about how the slap impacted the Oscars ratings Sunday night. Nielsen reports 600,000 people tuned in after the confrontation.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Now, when I did my initial reaction, his ticket sales went from it was like $30, $40. It jumped to $300.
Right. Now they $700 something.
So answering the question that my wife did on our first reaction, how much is a slap? We up to about, if you add the 7 to the 3, we're at $1,000 per seat.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this too. If I'm Chris Rock, let me get that. I'm getting in them pockets. I'm getting in them pockets.
Listen,
because I didn't press charges on you, because he probably won't do no jail time anyway. But let me get in them pockets though. I need me about $5 million, because
I'm digging in your pockets, bro. I'm digging in your pockets. And let me tell you something. On the law enforcement side, technically, like they've had analysts. And listen, when I tell you, other people have went so far and they've brought in experts, analysts, and all this other stuff. Technically, yes, California, I mean, every state can intervene on the behalf of anybody, but it's not going to be on a simple assault, okay? Because that's all this was. This was a simple assault. It was a slap. It was not a punch. None of that stuff. It wasn't brutal and everything all like that, which is why I don't get Amy Schumer's response either. But anyway, I ain't going to get into that. But what I will say is this. 1 year, Chris. You got 1 year. Your statute of limitation has 365 days to it. So if you happen to change your mind, you have a whole year to change your mind about filing a report of simple assault.
Oh, definitely. And I think what's happening is somebody done got in. Well, Will Smith is a smart man. I think he's had time to think, man, he could still sue me. He can still do this. The academy can still punish me. I still can be put out the academy for a certain amount of time. So he's trying to save face. He's trying to, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to appease them before they even come to him. It's almost like, oh, I had this epiphany. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No.
And he has his wife to thank. He has his wife to thank for all of that. Thank you, wifey.
Right, bro. Did she not look so evil in that picture with that?
You know, I've always looked at Jada as being a beautiful woman up until last night. Up until that night. I really did. Like, even her being wrong, you know, even people was like responding to me on my first reaction video being like, but Jada's still sexy. She said, okay, all jokes aside, bro. You know, let's see something that's beautiful but still dangerous. A tiger, a lion, those are beautiful animals. You wouldn't want to be outside in their habitat with them. I put it like that. Just because something is beautiful don't make it not dangerous.
Right.
So
and I don't like the way she's, like we talked about last night. Most women would agree, we're not gonna mess the bag up. We're not gonna mess your night up. You need to chill. You know what I'm saying? Even though they say that it was sitting far apart, so there's no way she could have stopped him. She still could have said, babe, no, sit down.
Exactly.
You listen to her any other time. You do what she say any other time, you know. But she
could have said, not right now. Wait a minute, babe. He ain't worth it. Anything. Because it wasn't like he wasn't going to hear you. Look at them big ass. See.
But I'm gonna tell you. Well, this has never happened to me, but he would have loved. I bet on his way up there. I bet that even though it didn't look like a long time, I bet it seemed like an eternity. Him getting out of his seat, walking towards Chris Rock. So anything she would have said or did or yelled would have given him license to go back and sit down, because he did not want to do that. He had.
You know what? He could have acted like it. He could have acted like wait a minute, Chris. He could have did one of. It's just like Jim Carrey said. You could have did one or the other. The other. Yell from your seat. Act like you about to get up and like kind of like what how like Ali did whenever he was in his latter years, and they would say, "Oh, I can take Ali," and Ali was, I love Ali, and then Ali was kind of like, well, I still got it. And we was like, yeah, that's right, Muhammad, that's right, still float, baby. You know what I'm saying? He could have did that. But nah, he chose that route. But my man Ricky Smiley brought in a very good point of view, and we're gonna wrap it up because I know we got other things to do, and we want to keep this show watchable. So we're gonna do Ricky, and then we'll conclude everything.
And I want to make another point. Jaden Smith comment was his son was like, that's how we do it. Okay, now I'm just saying, see, stuff like that, you spiking the ball in the end zone as if your father was right in what he did. Now, how you know Chris Rock ain't got folks? There's people out here that love Chris Rock. Chris Rock got folks that love him. Now, what if Will got family and kids or whatever, they out here doing stuff and got careers? What if somebody walked up and put their hands on one of your family members? Because there's people out here crazy like that.
Exactly.
You know, now you setting yourself up, and now the kids talking trash. Now you probably got to go and probably beef up security for yourself and for your kids for you know, being you know, out of order, because at the end of the day, that's how we do it. Your dad was wrong. You know, because somebody do something like that, you give them the opportunity to make the correction, because people make mistakes. I'm not justifying the joke or nothing. People make mistakes. People do things that they should not do, and people say things that they should not say, right? So at some point, you know, why wasn't correction allowed? Why didn't you pull them to the side and say, hey man, look at here, I don't like what you said, man. I need you to apologize to my wife. You could have said that from the floor, because you said keep my wife name out of your fucking mouth. And why didn't you stand there and say, apologize to my wife right now? The way Chris Rock handled that situation, I think he would have took that opportunity to apologize to Jada right then and kept it moving. That didn't have to happen. Still would have got news and media coverage, but it wouldn't have got violent like that. And that was bad. That was embarrassing for Will Packer. You know, you don't know how many the man hit a home run until that. And you know, people make mistakes and do things and say things, man, but you have to give people the opportunity to correct. Use a little bit of discretion, and now you're opening yourself up for discussion for the next year until the next Oscars. You know, damn, you know, we already got black folks fighting and shit at high school basketball games and football games, fighting at the mall, fighting here, and at the highest of highest, the classiest of classiest, the classiest of classy, now we fighting at the Oscars. So now if Maurette Brown Clark and Shirley Caesar get to fighting at the Stellar Awards, I'm really done. I'm just playing.
Listen, he had about 4 more minutes to say it, but like I said, I'm trying to be mindful of our time. So, but we get the gist of what he said. I mean, Let
me ask you a question, my brother. If you had to sum your feelings up about this, whether it be anger, disgust, embarrassment, sadness, disgruntled, what would be the word that you would say majority of your feelings are about this? If you had to describe your feelings about it.
Because I am an extrovert male, I felt an immediate sense of anger because I felt embarrassed. And at the same time, I felt a deep sense of empathy and not really sympathy, but great empathy for Chris Rock, because I know what it feels like to maintain, even though you want to come out your skin so bad, you want to do a James Brown. You don't, what did he say? Don't make me come out myself. Don't make me come out myself. I know what that feels like. So I commend Chris Rock for maintaining and not coming out himself. Yes, we clown Chris Rock because that's a part of his thing. You know, he shared his childhood. You know, everybody hates Chris, always coming across as a wimp, you know, whatever the case may be. For all we know, Chris could be a bad mofo, and we just don't know. Why? Because we drunk the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Just like Will Smith, has personified himself as being a hero, a badass, action figure, all these other things. Clearly, he is a marshmallow man in real life.
Right.
Now, one thing I do want to address, and I promise you I'm going to wrap it up. I know I'm sounding like one of them preachers right now. Oh, I know we're closing. Real quick. Here's the sensitive part of the show. By no means are we taking the seriousness of the medical condition alopecia for granted. Okay, by no means. My mother had the same symptoms all the way up until the day that God called her home. So in a man's world, alopecia is just as serious and sensitive as a man having ED. And if you don't know what ED is, it's erectile dysfunction. Because that's where we get our how do my Latin brothers say it? That's our machismo. You know what I'm saying? That's, hey, man,
But let me step in for a minute, and I'm gonna tell you this. I had it before, and it was in my beard. And it's for somebody who takes a long, I don't grow a beard really quickly at all.
Okay.
And it changed for me to have to go from having a full beard to I got a big circle right here. You know what I'm saying? I had to change my look. I ended up having to just cut it to a goatee, which I didn't want to do.
Okay.
But so even though I'm not a woman, I got a little experience in this. And what you do is you say, because it's not life-threatening at all. It's just superficial.
Right. It's super, thank you.
It's just superficial. So you say, well, just like she did. She said, because let me tell you something else. Somebody who's that distraught about the way they look does not go to the Oscars.
No.
They're sitting there, what I'm saying? Will would have been there by himself, and it would have been a perfect time. Well, my wife got alopecia, and she's so distraught she can't come out. No, they was out to have a nice time. They was both looking good. Like you said, she had her hair cut short, but she still looked good. Like when I had to cut mine off, I had a nice shaving, a nice little goatee. It just didn't have the beard. I hated it, and I was like, wow, when is this gonna go away? Because I don't even know how you control it. It just go and come. But it still was not worth what went down. And alopecia is gonna go away, but this is not gonna go away.
Exactly.
It's not.
Exactly. Again, this was another example of this is what I see. The way that Ricky Smiley said it. This was our time to shine. I didn't even know. I was totally unaware that the theme of this particular Oscar show was called Black Excellence.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Put it up in the air. Where's your shotgun? Boom. Because that's exactly what you did with it. And you can't undo it. You can't undo it.
Even Will Packer said that he was deeply hurt. He was deeply hurt by it. And a lot of people are rocking. A lot of people that rock with Will on this, they just rock with Will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
If this was two strangers and this thing would have played out, everybody would have been on the same page as that was assault. That was dead wrong. But see, it's almost like the same thing that happened with the insurrection. The people that rock with Donald Trump, they rock. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, go ahead.
And so when you have people that just got somebody's back, it really don't matter what they do.
Exactly.
I mean, we've all seen people. I watch serial killer stuff like like Dateline and ID Channel, and you see parents all the time. My child didn't do it. Wait a minute, your child fingerprints was all over the room. Your child fingerprints on the knife. Your child had the body in his. You know what I'm saying? it's like that. Sometimes people are blinded by their alliance to somebody, and I think that's one of the Will Smith people are that's the way they are with it. It's just like, oh, I've been following Will since Fresh Prince, and I love everything he do. And if this would have been two average Joes at Target somewhere, it would have been open and shut. But you know, it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. But hey, guys, hey, D, man, that was an excellent wrap up, brother. I thank you again. We try to bring, ain't no try to, we do bring the real. We try to also kind of like throw some comedic views in there too, but still trying to get our point across at the same time. And like I said, and the point of me bringing in like little clips and different views and stuff like that, because I don't want for people to look at this particular show and be like, oh, they're one-sided, they're, you know, or, you know, CJ, you only talk about this and da 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 da. No, I want you to know that I am not the only one that has this view. And yes, me and my co-hosts are very much alpha males and married multiple times. We got, like we said, we have blended families and stuff like that. So if anybody can relate to what it's like to swallow your pride, stay professional, handle your business like a man, you're looking at two guys that do it on the daily for real. So with that being said, guys, let that, like how my man Country Wayne would say, let that sizzle in your spirit. Good night, y'all.
Peace.